Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bros Talk MMA. I'm your host, Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, aka Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick. I'm here with my bro host extraordinaire.
You know what it is. It's Ray Bucks. It's Chaco Jordan. It is the Parlay God. It is Mr. Give me my belt, hand me my crown.
Somebody had a good weekend, I guess.
Show
In the
did.
parlay department.
Hit him for the 7-pick parlay on the Taporia card. So, you know what I mean? Just for all the doubters out there. You just got to stick with your boy. We're going to get there.
For sure. Well, today we're here to cover this weekend's special fight night card. It's like the Fight Night Edmonton card going down in Canada. It's going to be headlined by two flyweight bouts, one in the men's division and one in the women's division. We got Brandon Moreno going up against Amir Albazi. And in the co-main event, we got Aaron Blanchfield going up against Rose Namajunas. We're going to start off with the first fight of the night. We got Jack Shore going up against Youssef Zalal. We got Shore coming in. They're 6-2 in the UFC, 17-2 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5. We got Zalal coming in. They're 5-3-1 draw in the UFC, 15-5 with that one draw overall, and are currently riding a 5-fight win streak. I'm going to be going with Zalal in this one by either KO or sub. They're going to be the taller, slightly longer fighter. They're just like a resurging prospect, you know, because when they first made their run in the UFC, they were definitely like a young prospect. Got cut, got hot again on the regional scene, brought that momentum into their UFC return. And they've been doing really well. They look like they got, just like renewed energy. Very well rounded. I would say in this card or in this fight, they're going to have the edge in the striking and probably even the cardio in comparison to Jack Shore. If they can put Shore on their back foot and against the cage, they'll definitely have the route to victory in that way. We got Shore coming in. They're going to be the smaller fighter. Definitely a technical striker, very well rounded in their own regard, but they just don't do as well when they're pressured. And if you're a really good grappler, I mean, his grappling only goes so far. They're gonna need to get ahead early if they want to win. I would say that they're probably gonna win by decision if they were to win, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Not too sure who holds the edge in the grappling department, but I just think that Zalal's he's getting better everywhere. So that's who I'm gonna be going with.
I got to go with the Moroccan Devil. I got to go with Youssef Zalal. He is the hometown kid. And I think his resurgence in the UFC has been great. I think there's just a light switch or something turned off in him or turned on in him, and he's in there to finish and he's in there to get the dub. So Youssef Zalal is definitely my pick. I think he does finish this. I don't think this goes to decision.
Yep, Moroccan guy training out here in Colorado. So, he's already fucking lost me money on 2 fucking different kinds of occasions. And I was betting on him and when fucking I thought he wasn't shit and he started whooping fools' asses. So, yo, salute to Zalal. Moving on to the men's bantamweight division, we got Charles Jourdain going up against Victor Henry. We got Jourdain coming in 7-6 with one draw in the UFC, 15-8 with that one draw overall, and 2-3 in their last 5. We got Henry coming in there 3-1 with one no contest in the UFC, 24-6 with that one no contest overall, and 3-1 with that one no contest in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Jourdain in this one by decision or KO. They're gonna be the younger, taller, and slightly longer fighter in this bout. They're gonna have the edge in the striking for sure. They can grapple, but in my opinion, they're just gonna want to keep this on the feet. I would say my only concern with them is their gas tank and how they manage their energy through fights. If he can just keep this at distance, keep it more of just like a technical fight, just kind of point fighting. I feel like that's his best route to victory. Of course, if he can find the finish, that's good. But sometimes in finding that finish, that's when his energy tends to fade. So I think that if he just fights a nice technical fight in this one, that'll be his best route to victory. Henry's going to be the older fighter by 9 years. They're going to be slightly smaller in this fight, but definitely well-rounded, but with the edge and the grappling. They're going to want to get this to the ground as soon as possible and wear on that gas tank of Jourdain. That would probably be their best route to victory. But in this fight, I'm going to be going with Jourdain.
Unfortunately, I disagree with you. I've got to go with Henry, just based on the grappling and wrestling ability that he does have. I think he's going to be able to get it done. Jourdain is a great fighter. I think this is going to be a great fight, but it will just be more of a test of striking versus grappling wrestling affair, and I'm going to go with the wrestler 9 times out of 10.
Okay. Moving on to another bantamweight bout. We have Aiemann Zahabi going up against Pedro Munhoz. We got Zahabi coming in 5-2 in the UFC, 11-2 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Munhoz coming in there 10-9 with 2 no contests in the UFC, 20-9 with those 2 no contests overall, and 1-3 with 1 no contest in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Zahabi in this fight by either decision or KO. They're gonna be the slightly younger, taller, and longer fighter. They're going to be the technical striker of the two with a decent gas tank, but he's just going to want to keep this one at distance and kind of the same thing, just fight a point fight. That would probably be their best route to victory. Pick Munhoz apart and just, avoid takedowns in the event that Munhoz decides to revert to their wrestling or grappling. But most of the time, Munhoz just likes to keep it standing up. They're going to be the older and smaller fighter of the two, but definitely a more powerful striker that can grapple, but prefers to get in the pocket and trade. That's where he's going to want to take this fight striking wise, is if he can get Aiemann Zahabi into a trading affair, he might be the one who can clip his chin in that regard. But he's going to have to pressure him and make it a dirty fight in order to make that happen. Possibly mix in some of that grappling, like I was saying, but I just feel like Zahabi's kind of just like on that next level and just getting better, whereas Munhoz, I think, is starting to, get to the end of his career. So I'm gonna be going with Zahabi in this one.
I've got to agree with you. Zahabi is, like you said, 4-1 in his last 5 fights and on a 4-fight winning streak currently, whereas Pedro Munhoz is on a two-fight slide. It's hard for me to bet fighters who are on a slide. Everybody wants to believe in the underdog story of the comeback story. Fighting, I don't feel is not built like that. Let's keep that for Pee Wee football. We're not doing comeback stories in fighting generally.
Shit, I mean, Ryan Spann, he came back, he was on like a 3-4 fight skid.
Oh yeah, okay. You want to bring up that fight? That's good.
Bro.
I mean,
I'm always bring up that fight.
I get. You know what I mean? I definitely picked bad in that one. I mean, I picked on a 40-year-old man. You know what I mean? He should have won, I guess. Spann should have won.
Just picked another 40-year-old man in Henry.
Yeah, but he'll be all right. He's going to get it done. I'm not too worried about that. Anyway, like I'm saying, I'm picking Zahabi. Zahabi for the win. You know what I mean? That's a scoreboard show. You know what I mean? My picks are solid.
All right. Nice. That was clean. Moving on to another men's bantamweight bout. We got Siri Saidi going up against Garrett Armfield. We got Saidi coming in 0-1 in the UFC, 10-2 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Armfield coming in. They are 2-2 in the UFC, 10-4 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's gonna be with Saidi on this one by decision or KO. They're gonna be the taller and longer fighter, volume striker with finishing capability. It's been about 10 months since their last fight, but I wouldn't say that's necessarily like a bad layoff. Like, first off, they've gotten to a fucking war with Roman Tavares in their last fight. And then also, it's just like a good way to refine some skills, let the body heal, and like, really come back super healthy. So I just feel like if they can avoid the power of Armfield and just like not get touched up too much, because what I've noticed is their face is prone to like show damage pretty easily. If they're able to avoid that, that should be their route to victory. Armfield's gonna be the smaller fighter, definitely the more powerful of the two. I just don't know if he's proven yet in the UFC. Um, and not necessarily sure if he's of that caliber yet. But he just needs to end this quick, try to impose himself, put Saidi up against the cage, touch him up with those power shots, not blow his fucking tank, trying to finish him off if he does find a route, where he may have him rocked or something like that, and just I guess if he can add more to his arsenal than just, power shots, I think that he can come away with this one, but I'm gonna have to go with Saidi.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I've got to go with Jared Armfield, just for all the reasons you basically made my point at the end of your monologue there. Um, Armfield does have more power, and Saidi does have the ability to be cut fairly easily, in my opinion. And Armfield having the power that he does will cut him. And as we both have noticed, the UFC is moving more towards, or at least the judging is moving more towards damage than it is even control time and that sort of thing. So I think, you know what I mean, Garrett Armfield wins it by Saidi's face being mush. So Armfield for the win.
Okay. Moving on to a heavyweight bout, we have Alexander Romanov going up against Rodrigo Nascimento. We got Romanov coming in 6-3 in the UFC, 17-3 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. We got Nascimento coming in 4-2 with one no contest in the UFC, 11-2 with that one no contest overall, and 3-1 with that one no contest in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Nascimento in this one by decision or submission. They're gonna be the younger and longer fighter of the two. They can strike, but they're definitely gonna be the one with the edge in the grappling. If I was them, I would just apply it as soon as possible. Start zapping Romanov's energy right away. Take it into the third round and possibly finish by sub. But definitely, if this is ends up going to the decision, I would see that going in Nascimento's favor. Um, Romanov, they started out hot and they were a top prospect at one point, but they've just faded as time has gone on. They're going to be the older fighter in this bout. Uh, they're quick, heavyweight. They move well for their size. They got good hands and some grappling. But their gas tank just is really what ends up being, what plays against them in these fights. So, he's gonna need success early if he wants to, have a chance in this one against Nascimento. Hurt him early, and get him out of there. But like I said, if this fight ends up going to decision or becomes more so of a grappling match, I'm gonna be going with Nascimento.
I've got to disagree with you. I agree with all your points. I think Romanov wins this, and he either wins it in the first or early second round, or now we're at a point where it can be a decision victory for Nascimento. I've got to completely agree with that. I do think these are two big dudes who are just gonna, sit there and trade blows for the most part. And I just don't see it going to a decision when you've got that much power in a cage. For that reason, I've got to go with Alexander Romanov. I just think he beats Nascimento.
For sure. Sure. All right, moving on to a women's flyweight bout. We got Ariane Lipski going up against Jasmine Jasudavicius. We got Lipski coming in 6-6 in the UFC, 17-9 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Jasudavicius coming in, they're 5-2 in the UFC, 11-3 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Jasudavicius in this one by a decision or KO, more in like a ground and pound fashion, if that were to happen. They're gonna be the older fighter by 5 years, slightly taller and longer of the two. Definitely just a super dog fighter that can strike, but is mostly good at just finding entries for takedowns, getting their opponents to the ground, and just, ground and pound, or just like, domination throughout 3 rounds. A lot of strikes, not a lot of like going for submissions and stuff, just more just trying to break you, elbows, top pressure. Only concern is if they can't get that grappling going, then they still, are game to keep it on the feet and fight, but their hands just aren't there. They get punched a lot. And I would just prefer them to get this to the ground as soon as possible. Lipski, they're going to be the younger, smaller fighter of the two. Well-rounded, but isn't like really dangerous in any area. Like they're good in all facets, but nowhere where I think that they could finish Jasudavicius. Kind of a similar style to hers, but like I said, just less aggressive or dangerous. I don't think that they'll be physical or aggressive enough to, overpower or control Jasudavicius. So they're going to need to hurt them early, catch their chin or, wobble them with something early on to get this fight going in their direction. But overall, I think Jasudavicius takes this home.
I gotta agree with you. Jasudavicius is going to take this home. She's going to win by sub. Ariana Lipski is, in my opinion, very mediocre, very just, run of the mill. She's not great anywhere. She's not necessarily bad anywhere. She's just mwah. Where I think that Jasudavicius does have the clear route to victory in her grappling, in her wrestling, in her BJJ. And she'll either take her down, I would say, late first round, early second round, and go ahead and put her to sleep.
For sure, for sure. All right, moving on. We have a men's bantamweight bout. We got Chad Anheliger going up against Cody Gibson. We got Anheliger coming in 2-2 in the UFC, 13-7 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Gibson coming in. They are 2-5 in the UFC, 20-10 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Gibson in this one by either decision or sub. They're going to be the taller and longer fighter, well-rounded, but definitely is a striker primarily. Super dog fighter. They're going to have the edge in the grappling of the two, and definitely is game to go to the ground, but only if it just ends up going there, or if he happens to, need to start mixing it up, or is getting the short end of the stick in the striking. But I don't think that should happen, but I would still implore that grappling just to keep Anheliger guessing, and possibly even win by sub, because Anheliger, that's basically how they lose, is by submission. Anheliger is the smaller fighter, point striker, super good foot movement, a lot of cardio, is gonna move around the ring a lot throughout the entire fight. A lot of feints and stuff like that. I would say maybe they got the edge in the striking, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get through Gibson's reach if Gibson decides to keep them at distance. But outside of that, yeah, I just don't see much else that Anheliger has to offer. I'm gonna be going with Gibson in this one.
I've got to agree with you on Cody Gibson. He just is a super dog fighter.
Mhm.
He's just not going to give up. He's not going to fold. He's gonna leave on his shield if he leaves at all. And I just don't see that in Gallagher as much. So I've got to go Cody Gibson in this particular fight.
Oh yeah. All right, moving on to a women's flyweight bout. We have Jamie Lynn Horth going up against Ivana Petrovic. We got Horth coming in 1-1 in the UFC, 6-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Petrovic coming in. They are 1-1 in the UFC, 7-1 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5. I'm gonna be going with Petrovic by either decision or KO. They're gonna be the younger and just overall bigger of the two fighters. Well-rounded, but not sure if they're UFC caliber yet. They're gonna need to basically take this to the 3rd round or, win by decision. Really is my only route to victory for them. I see. Horth is gonna be the older fighter by 4 years, smaller of the two. She's well-rounded, but I would say maybe she might have the edge in the striking. I'm not quite sure, but regardless, they're gonna need to get Petrovic out of here early if they want to win. I mean, both of them only have 1 defeat on both their records, so it's not like they're slouches, but I just don't know if they're like of UFC level yet. So I'm just gonna have to go with what I see, and with what I see, I'm gonna lean towards Petrovic.
I'm leaning towards Petrovic too. I don't think either one of these women are UFC level. But I do think this is going to be an entertaining fight. I know I'm pretty hard on the women's division. But Petrovic and Jamie Lynn Horth actually do finish fights. Is it pretty? I don't think so. I think that this could be either a very great fight that should be more at like an LFA level or a PFL level. But it's either going to be they're going to cancel each other out, and we're going to go to a decision, or we're going to see maybe a fantastic KO at this 125. And I'm hoping that I see it from Petrovic, but I'm not sure. Hopefully, I don't have to go just get a beer on this particular fight. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be pretty decent.
For sure, for sure. All right, moving on to a welterweight bout in the men's division. We have Mike Malott going up against Trevin Giles. We got Malott coming in 3-1 in the UFC, 10-2 and 1 draw overall, and 4-1 in their last 5. We got Giles coming in. They are 7-6 in the UFC, 16-6 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5. I'm gonna be going with Giles by KO or decision in this one. They're gonna be the slightly longer of the two fighters. A striker who can grapple, but really just implores this really good, accurate jab that they got. They've lost to Malott in a grappling match not too long ago, but a grappling match in comparison to getting punches thrown in your face, I just think is a different ball game. But it would be in his best interest to keep this on the feet, jab friggin' Malott into submission, and either take him out in the 3rd round, similar to their last fight against Neil Magny, where they just kind of gassed out, or take him even to decision. Because I just feel like Malott, hopefully has went back to the gym and really worked on that gas tank. Even humbled himself somewhat, and just knowing that you're at UFC level, bro. So everybody's dangerous, even the old 40-year-old guys like Magny. Malott's gonna be the slightly taller fighter, edge and grappling, of course, as it's already been proven. But that gas tank was exposed in that last fight. He doesn't go to decision really, so it's like if we still have yet to see, if he can battle through that adversity. I know Trevin Giles has been there, so I'm gonna have to go with Giles in this one unless Mike Malot's able to get ahead early or get him out of here early.
I gotta disagree with you. I'm going with Mike a lot. Trevin Giles is just too lopsided. Not a lopsided, but basically he's not well rounded. He doesn't have grappling and striking. I think he is the better striker of the two, but I don't think Malot's so far below him that he's going to outclass him. Malott may outclass him in the grappling, so that gives me more routes of victory for Malott. His gas tank is trash. I mean, I can absolutely agree with you on that. We did see it against Neil Magny, and I think I bet on Malott for that particular fight.
Yeah, I think everybody almost bet on
I think
Malott.
everyone did, yeah. And he didn't show us much. So hopefully they put him on the what's that?
Well, what my issue is that he would have won by decision. He just needed the last.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, like when you're and don't get me wrong, there's been some greats who have, to Sheriff, for instance, literally with like 5 seconds left on the clock, he's, tapped out to a submission that in a fight that he was on his way to possibly winning by decision.
Mm-hmm. But there's that.
Malott freaking gave up, bro. Like he just got so tired that he literally was like paralyzed from exhaustion and just Magny fucking put him away. And like that's, I don't know, bro. Like I said, now Magny ain't no slouch either, but bruh, like you had it. Even though you were dog shit at the end, all you had to do is just ride it out for like a couple more seconds.
And I think his corner has got to be working on that, right? So we've got to agree that like he is in the first round, he's the better fighter. In the first round, I think he takes Trevin Giles out. The second round, I think he takes Trevin Giles out. Now that's where you get into gambling and we get into betting. What does he do in that third round when Trevin Giles comes out and still is able to stand up off the stool and put his hands up,
jabbing
and
to shit?
Exactly. So my hope is that Malott's either able to put him out, or he's worked with his team and his camp to, you know what I mean, last that extra dude, because it was only like 30.
Dude.
It was only like 30 minutes we needed him to just power through. So
30 seconds or
that's what I meant. 30 seconds. So Malott, man, get it done this time, bro. And don't make me blacklist you from my betting parlays and picks.
All right, folks. Moving on to a heavyweight bout. We got Derek Lewis going up against Janata Deniz. We got Lewis coming in 19-10 in the UFC, 20-12 with 1 no contest overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. We got Deniz coming in. They are 2-0 in the UFC, 8-0 overall, undefeated as I mentioned already. But I'm still going with Lewis in this one by either KO or decision. They're going to be the older fighter by 6 years, slightly smaller of the two, but definitely, I don't know. I guess I would say maybe the more powerful of the two. I mean, Janata packs a punch as well, so it's going to be hard to tell. I guess we're just going to have to see. But Derek Lewis is definitely evolving with their grappling. Maybe not in terms of like offense, but definitely, takedown defense, getting back to his feet. Definitely has the more UFC experience of the two. Could end the fight literally at any time. And has a pretty good gas tank considering, he's been, at the top of the heavyweight division for a while now. So he's had his fair share of 5-round fights. So I think, that's definitely going to benefit him going into this fight against a guy who has only had 1 decision win out of that 8 fights that he's fought, and really doesn't go to the 3rd round really at all for the most part. Deniz is going to be the younger, slightly bigger fighter, definitely a power striker. I'm not sure if who has the edge in that, but he has no grappling. He has no intentions to grapple whatsoever. Now, I will say he must have some grappling prowess because he was able to win a fight against Carl Williams, who that's pretty much his game is wrestling. So he had to have been able to stall a lot of that takedown, grappling onslaught that he was getting and was able to, still lay paws on Williams. But he's just nowhere as experienced as Lewis, and he's just gonna have to put himself in danger to be able to actually, put Lewis out with his power shots. So with that being said, like I just feel like if you catch one from Derek Lewis, it's probably gonna be a lot more detrimental than if you catch that one from Denise. And especially if you're a big boy, I think that you might be able to absorb a shot from the knees a little bit better than you would from Lewis. Been pretty proven Lewis can touch anybody's chin and put him down.
And I agree with you. I think, I don't agree with you on the pick. Derek Lewis, unfortunately, I think he has some of the most quotable things I've ever heard in all of UFC. He's a great personality. I want him around just for his quotes and for his post-fight interviews. But I think Denise is the up-and-comer. I think Denise is the more technical striker. I think he does have power. I do think Derek Lewis has more power than Denise has. But I think Denise has a little bit more speed than Derek Lewis has. I think he has, like I said, a more technical striking.
Maybe
so
more
it's more
volume. I know Derek Lewis likes to find that sweet spot.
He's haymaker. Haymaker Derek Lewis is what they should call him. Whereas Denise, I think, does have a jab, does set up counter punching, does set up, a good shot with, punches and bunches. Whereas Derek Lewis is literally trying to knock your head off with one single punch. For that reason, I've got to go with Denise. I believe he'll get it done. I think this is going to be a fantastic fight. Because somebody's going to hit the ground. And I will say that Denise has not fallen in his career yet. Obviously Derek Lewis has been KO'd. I'm not going to say he's chinny because that's disrespectful. Not that I can't be disrespectful, but Derek Lewis is my guy. But Denise's chin has not been cracked. So I'm just going to put that out there. Denise for the win.
Moving on to a light heavyweight bout, we got Cal Machado going up against Bredson Ribeiro. We got Machado coming in. They are 0-2 in the UFC, 8-3 with one draw overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Ribeiro coming in. They are 0-2 in the UFC, 15-7 with one no contest overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. I'm going to be going with Ribeiro in this one by KO or decision. They're going to be the slightly younger and longer fighter of the two. A power striker that can grapple, but doesn't have the best gas tank in my opinion. They're currently on a 2-fight skid. And basically are just going to have to clip Machado to win. Machado, they're the older, slightly taller of the two fighters. I mean, they're well-rounded in their skill set, but they're not dangerous. And to be honest, like, they are kind of fucking goofy. Like, I ain't even gonna lie, bro. Like, they're just walking around, just smiling. Like, literally smile fucking at the face-off. Smile on the scale. Smile at the face-off. Smile fucking on the walkout. Smile waiting for their opponent to come out, smiling at them when they're fucking across the cage from them, and then comes out, smiles, and wants to touch gloves and all that bullshit.
Just, damn, my guy, you don't like smiles or what's going on?
I don't like when it looks like you're just fucking like having like
you're just happy to be there?
Not even just happy to be there, but just like it's like you're like a either way, like And I guess it is like I'm just happy to be in the UFC. But it's like, bro, like you got no intensity, like nothing. Like even when he's fighting, he gets put on his back and he's just laying there, just kind of in his guard, just going through the motions and still smiling. Fucking fool gets cracked in his face. He's gonna smile at you afterwards. Like he doesn't seem like.
Is it not a creepy enough smile for you? Because like I've seen those people who get like cracked in the face and they're smiling like got blood in their teeth and shit, and you're like, oh, this
Nah,
motherfucker is
bruh.
savage. It's not that.
Nah, it's just goofiness. It's just fucking just like like I don't know how to explain it, but it's literally just the most unserious attitude you could have in a fucking field where literally you're supposed to take people's heads off or keep from getting yours taken off. Like it just it's almost like almost playful. It's like he's playing. He's just playing too much for me. I don't like the shit.
I don't like that shit.
I don't like it. The fact that he even has finishes on his record is astonishing to me because he just looks like he's just in there having fun, just play fighting. It's weird, bro. I don't like it. And on top of that, he's moving down from heavyweight. This dude's been fighting heavyweight fucking at least for these past 2 fights just in the UFC, but I'm assuming he's been a heavyweight for a large majority of his career. He's moving down to light heavyweight, which means just from the last time he fought,
he's dropping 50.
He's dropping fucking at least 45 or more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's gonna deplete him or if he's gonna be better for it, but I just feel like regardless, he needs to hurt Ribeiro early because even if this was his weight class, like I said, he's just too unserious that I literally, can see him just laying on his back for 3 rounds, just laughing or getting popped and fucking, pieced up for 3 rounds and just laughing or getting fucking smoked and then like standing there fucking when the ref's ready to hold up hands and he's just like yeah, fuck, I'm not a fan.
You make him sound like the Joker, bro. Like
nah.
not the Joker, like
nah, because the Joker
like
is
the Walking
fucking
Phoenix Joker, like that, like.
Nah, because even that fool, there's a level of fucking like mystery. Like I don't know if this nigga's about to pop off right now. This dude is goofy, dog. Like I'm telling you, like go watch a fight. Go watch a fight with this dude and tell me how serious he fucking looks in that fucking cage.
Okay.
So with all that being said, I'm going with Ribeiro.
I mean, this has got to be any one of your parlays at this point, I would imagine, right?
No, not at all, because Ribeiro's fucking trash. Dog. Like.
All right, well, I've got to agree with you on Ribeiro. If not for the monologue that you just gave me on Machado and how goofy he is, but my big thing is, I mean, these men are in their 30s, and we're dropping what?
I said like 50
dropping
pounds.
50 pounds. It's literally 50 pounds. I did look that up.
Because like, okay, he weighed in at like 250 something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he's dropping fucking down to 205, like I said, that's like 45 at least. But then you're talking about what he weighs in at like after the weigh-in,
Sure.
After you replenish, then what do you go up to? Fucking 270?
Yeah.
You know
absolutely,
what I mean?
Especially as a big boy.
So now you're fucking cutting
crazy weight.
Cutting 60 pounds.
Crazy weight.
That's crazy, man.
So maybe he won't be smiling when he's across the cage from fucking
Doubt
Ribeiro.
it. I doubt it, dog. I'm telling you.
But I've got to agree with. I've got to agree with going with the true 205.
Fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I've got to go with the true 205. Versus Machado. Again, like these guys are both on 2 defeats, I believe, in their last 2 fights.
Yeah.
Respectively. But I think Ribeiro will be the one to get it done.
More killer attitude, bro. At least and even if he loses, at least I feel like he tried, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. Watch when you see this shit.
I feel you.
All right.
Can we move on? Can we move on to the
Yeah.
next one? All right.
Moving on to the middleweight division, we got Marc-Andre Barrio going up against Dustin Stoltzfus. We got Barrio coming in. They are 5-7 with one no contest in the UFC, 16-8 with one no contest overall, and 2-3 in their last 5. We got Stoltzfus coming in. They're 2-5 in the UFC, 15-6 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Stoltzfus in this one by either decision or sub. They're gonna be the slightly younger and shorter fighter. They're gonna have the edge in the grappling though. They can strike a little bit, but it's mostly just to get in for grappling entries. I'm not sold on them at all. This is not a pick that I'm happy about making as well. But I just feel like them having the edge in the grappling, Barrio, even though they're called the power bar, their energy hasn't been matching up to that names here recently. So they're gonna need to manage theirs, and I feel like if Stoltzfus is able to mix it up and get some wrestling going on, uh, he'll zap Barrio's energy as long as he's able to avoid absorbing too many strikes, because Barrio is a volume striker. They're going to be a slightly older fighter and taller of the two. Definitely can go multiple rounds, but not when someone has good grappling. And their gas tank fades pretty rapidly if you're able to start chaining that wrestling on them. They're just gonna need to keep this fight at distance and on the feet, make it a point fight, take it to decision. That'd probably be their best route to victory, but I think Stoltzfus can get this one done, get him to the ground, and possibly either just control him or get him out of there at some point.
I agree with your pick. Stoltzfus is definitely going to get him out of there. I don't know. I go Stoltzfus. I think if you're going to bet on it, you've got better odd money. Betting Stoltzfus over Barrio. Fuck. This is a get a beer fight. Hey, give me another beer, bitch. Yeah. Damn. Anyway,
that was the wildest breakdown of all time. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening. We got a women's flyweight bout. We got Rose Namajunas going up against Erin Blanchfield. We got Namajunas coming in. They are 11-5 in the UFC, 13-6 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. Blanchfield is 6-1 in the UFC, 12-2 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. I'm going to be going with Namajunas by either decision or KO. They're going to be the older fighter by 7 years, slightly taller. They are well-rounded, but definitely are going to have the edge in the grappling between these two. I would say that, she has great takedown defense, good cardio, possibly still growing into their flyweight frame. We have yet to see. But she definitely has been performing better. I think she's had 3 flyweight bouts now, and she's won 2 of them. And her most recent victory against Tracy Cortez, who I would say is somewhat of a mirror of Blanchfield. Those two have actually even fought, with Cortez taking home the victory in a controversial decision, to what people would say. But anyways, I would say that Rose, as long as she's able to just keep this on the feet and at distance, she'll take this one home. And if their mental is in good standing as well. I mean, I would say that's usually one of Rose's biggest adversities is, if she ends up coming into the fight, with low confidence, or if her confidence starts to wane as the fight goes on. But if she comes in there knowing that she's definitely the better fighter of these two, I would say, in my opinion, then, she's going to be able to come in there and fight like she knows how. Blanchfield, she's the younger and longer of the two. Definitely a grappling specialist. She can fight, but that shit is kind of just sloppy, in my opinion, and definitely not as crisp as Rose. But she's scrappy. She's durable. She's gonna take one to give one for sure, or to gain entry for takedowns. She's got good cardio. And she's gonna need to put herself into danger to be able to get those takedowns. She's gonna need to control Rose to, or like just even like have some success with the takedowns to start making Rose weary of them. And then that'll kind of throw off her striking. I've seen it happen with Rose's loss to Carla Esparza. Like, that's how you throw her off, especially being a grappling specialist. She doesn't even want to put herself in that danger. But I just feel like if she comes in with the right confidence, knowing that she's the vet and that, they're putting this young buck against her to, try and, take her spot, maybe even look at it as a changing of the guard. I think that she knows she's the better fighter in this fight, and she just needs to come out and fight that way. Same way she did with Tracy Cortez. I think she gets this one done.
Thug Rose, Mama Yunus will win this bout. She's the hometown girl.
No, not in this one.
Well, she's my hometown girl. I'm not saying like the hometown girl for the. Yeah, you're right. Obviously, like both of them are from America, and we're talking about their fighting in Canada. Anyway, Mama Yunus is my hometown girl. I think she wins. She's very comfortable at 125. I don't think she's gonna have any mental. I mean, I know we've brought that up through a lot of her fights. That she can come in with a bad mental. I think a lot of that was probably just depletion. She was not. I don't think she was meant to be fighting at 115 for as long as she did. This 125 looks a lot better on her, and her fight ability and how she comes in and her energy levels, and what she puts in the cage. I don't see any reason that she's not able to beat Erin Blanchfield, was just a carbon copy of Tracy Cortez. Mama Yunus is very well rounded all throughout all aspects of her MMA, or women's MMA, and I don't see why she doesn't take it home. I think this should just be another um, notch on the belt on her way to the big game.
For sure, for sure. All right. Moving on to the
main event of the evening.
We got a flyweight matchup between Brandon Moreno going up against Amir Albazi. We got Moreno coming in there 9-5 with 2 draws in the UFC, 21-8 with those 2 draws overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. We got Albazi. They are 5-0 in the UFC, 17-1 overall, and are currently riding a 6-fight win streak. My pick's gonna be with Moreno by either decision or KO. They're the slightly bigger fighter of the two. Well-rounded. Are definitely gonna have the edge in striking. Super dog fighter, super durable. Definitely a way stronger resume than Albazi. Way more championship medal, both being a champion and just having have fought in so many championship fights and or just 5-round main events. They're gonna need to keep this on the feet though. That'd be their best route to victory. Push the pressure, make it dirty, and just take Albazi into these later rounds and get the decision. I think that would be their best bet. One moment, folks.
What's up?
You good? Come in. You
Okay.
good? We got Albazi. They're going to be the smaller fighter of the two. Definitely well-rounded, but they're going to be on the opposite side of the spectrum with the edge and the grappling. They lost their last fight, in my opinion. It was a controversial split decision victory with Kai Kara France. And really, outside of that win on their resume, there really isn't anybody too impressive that even I feel like even warrants him to even be getting a title shot. I feel like he needed to string together a few more high-profile wins before he actually was even given this shot. But I realized that a lot of those top guys have already all fought each other multiple times. So they're just trying to, bring somebody new into the mix. He was able to get the win over France, which was able to, I guess, at least push him over to get this shot. But he's gonna need to get this fight to the ground as soon as possible, and/or just exercise a elite level of grappling prowess to where he's just basically Khabib and Moreno all fucking 5 rounds to get to the victory, or break him eventually and finish him. But I just don't see it. I feel like Moreno has enough grappling capability to create scrambles, get up from those takedowns, get it back to the feet, and just start piecing Albazi up again. Not sure if Albazi, has 5 round, capability. But all in all, I just think Moreno's the better fighter, and that's who I'm gonna be going with.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna go with Albazi. Let me go ahead and first take your last point that you had. You're not sure if he has 5 round capability. Well, his last fight was 5 rounds, right?
And he was getting toasted fucking towards the end of it, and everybody was like, Car France won, and then the nigga fucking ended up getting a fucking bullshit call in his favor. And he's been off ever since that fight. That fight was fucking a minute ago.
Well, don't leave it up to the judges then, okay? That's the first thing I gotta say. Second thing I'm gonna say is that obviously he learned from that. Obviously he did lose that fight, in my opinion. Um, but we're not talking about a year ago. We're talking about today, and I think today he beats Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno has been through some wars. Brandon Moreno is one of the best to have ever done it. Brandon Moreno has fought for championships. Um, I think this is a little bit of the passing of the torch. I don't think Brandon Moreno is done by any means. I just think that they are definitely going to trade rankings in this particular fight, being Albazi at 3 and Moreno at 5. That being said, it's going to be an absolute war. Moreno's not going to walk off into the dark um, without giving everything he has, whether it's dying on his shield or it's just absolutely leaving it all in the cage. Albazi, we need to see a little bit more from him to say that. But I just think Albazi is going to also go to war. I think there's probably a chip on his shoulder with the Kai Kara France fight. So I'm hoping he is use that as motivation and not a detriment to himself.
Outside of Car France, there's nobody in Albazi's record that he's beat or lost to that could beat the guys that Moreno's lost to, let alone the guys that he's beaten in his career. Like, his resume just does not stack up. And I get it. Maybe he's a legend in the making. But right now, on paper and from what I've seen from his last performance compared to Moreno's last performance, I'll take Moreno's losing effort against Royval over his winning effort against Car France any day.
I can respect that. I can definitely respect that, but I can also say that I believe there's a lot less tread on the tires for Moreno than there is for Albazi. Um, I think Moreno's a great fighter. I have nothing bad to say about Moreno. Again, I think this is just one of those things where at some point, you know what I mean, you're over the top of the bell curve and you're moving your way down. I think Moreno obviously has a bunch more fights in him, but not he has more fights behind him than he has in front of him. And I think Albazi is on the upslope and he's got quite a few more fights in front of him than he has behind him.
Okay. Well, folks, that concludes our predictions and picks portion of this show. Parlay God, 7-pick fucking parlay fucking pimping over here. You got any
You mean
parlays?
7-pick parlay genius, the 7-pick parlay god, the 7-pick Alway parlay picking motherfucker? That's it.
That was hard.
You know what it is? You know what I mean? Hall of Fame, baby.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You got parlays now?
I got parlays now.
All right. You want to start?
No, you go ahead and start. You know what I mean? Because last time you start, you know what I mean? Parlay God came back.
Okay, that's what's up. I think I hit some parlays yesterday. Actually, I hit my parlays too.
You
Fucking
did.
last week. It was the ones that weren't on the show that didn't hit. But I hit the ones that I fucking named. So that's what's up. Hell yeah. Anyway, my parlays. I'm gonna start out with a base 3. I got a Jazz DeVicious, Namajunas, and Moreno as my base 3. If you want to spice things up, then I would go with a spicy Derek Lewis, spicy Rodrigo Nascimento, and if you really want to spice shit up, you can go with a spicy Zalal. All right, if you got it, you got it. If you didn't, yeah, whatever. But yeah, that's my parlays. What you got, bro? Parlay God.
Parlay God.
Bless us.
About to give you guys the greatest. I'm gonna give you 2 different parlays, 2 separate parlays. So do one and then do the other. My first parlay is going to be the ladies' night parlay.
Okay.
It's gonna be Jazz DeVicious,
Mm-hmm.
Thug Rose, Mama Eunice. Shouts out Caleb. And Petrovic for my ladies' night parlay.
Okay.
And
That's
then
quite the curveball.
it's quite the curveball, I get it. But then my second parlay will be the first 2, which is going to be Namajunas, Jazz DeVicious, and then we're going to put Zalal in there as my third pick, as the spicy pick, as my brother said. He is the Moroccan Devil, so I guess that makes him spicy. Maybe that's what you were referencing.
Two girls, one's a law.
2 girls, 1's a law. 2 girls, 1 Moroccan Devil.
No, I was talking about like you got Zalal, and then you got like halal, you know, like the blessed meat type shit. So it's like get some spicy Zalal.
Moroccan Devil is better. Makes it spicy, right? Like,
Nah, not really. Just
I mean,
it's hot. I don't really. It's not.
it's not spicy. Hot's not spicy.
Not technically. There's temperature hot, and then there's spicy.
What the fuck?
Anyway, I just added way more minutes to this video than I wanted it to. That concludes the parlays. So I guess from there we can go to this graphic I'm about to put up right here, letting y'all know how we did on last week's card, leading into our all-time picks and percentages on the year. This is going to be our 37th event of the year. So we've been able to cover all the fights within all that. I think Bro ended up going back up about 2 fights on me with this last card. I did dog shit fucking on this last card. He did pretty well actually. So yeah, I think he's back up again to at least like 12 fights. And I hope to get some of that back. I think we disagreed on like maybe 4 or 5 fights on this card, so
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes. Just want to thank everybody for watching. Thanks to our new subscribers. We're almost to that goal of 50. Not quite there yet, but we're almost there. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram at Bros Talk MMA, as well as on TikTok. And yeah,
We appreciate you for those TikTok views. I think we got 1,600 on one of our last ones you put up.
yeah,
Which is super solid. Appreciate it.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, folks, let us know in the comments what you think about anything and everything UFC and MMA. But outside of that, we wish y'all nothing but the best. Happy betting. And until the next time, we out.